Get ready.
In this video, we turn our attention to value resorts at Walt Disney World. Before we get into it though, we would ask if you like the content that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to drop the video a like as it helps us out a lot. Anyway, let's get into the video. Walt Disney World Resort has always done its best to be as inclusive as possible in a bid to attract as many guests as possible. However, many viewers, especially those outside North America, may assume that a trip to Walt Disney World Resort and everything that goes along with it is way beyond their budget. We aren't here to dispute that a trip to the resort won't be expensive, but Disney does offer some better value options for guests on a budget. In this video, we count down our top 5 Walt Disney World value resorts, highlighting the best and cheapest options to stay on Walt Disney World property. Get ready. Number 5. All-Star Music Resort. The All-Star Music Resort is 1/3 of the All-Star Value Resorts, and in our opinion falls a little short behind the other two in terms of value and Disney vibe. Don't get us wrong, like any Disney hotel, All-Star Music does have some nice theming, with giant musical instrument structures scattered around the place that light up and look especially nice at nighttime. The pros for this resort is that, like most value resorts, the rooms are decent, if a little small, with a relative amount of theming to try to instill some Disney magic into its guests. In terms of amenities, the resort has everything you would expect, alongside a pretty good food court and 2 musical instrument themed pools. In terms of price, the resort is tied with the other All-Star resorts as the cheapest accommodation at Walt Disney World. Finally, unlike the other All-Star resorts, music offers the option of family suites. These come at a higher cost but can sleep up to 6 and act more as an apartment than a standard room. In terms of cons, in our opinion, where the resort unfortunately falls down is it doesn't feel as authentic as other Disney resorts. Don't get us wrong, the music theme is nice, but maybe not as Disney as guests would hope when staying on property. As well as this, the resort shares shuttle bus transportation to the parks with the other All-Star resorts, and as it's not the first stop, buses can sometimes be crowded or full by the time they get to All-Star Music. Number 4. All-Star Movies Resort. Next on our list is the All-Star Movies Resort. Unlike the music resort, movies should definitely give all of its guests a taste of Disney nostalgia when they enter. If you stay at this resort, you can expect to see some of your favourite Disney characters in the form of massive statues. Some of the movies featured in the resort's theming include Toy Story, 101 Dalmatians, and Mighty Ducks, among others. The biggest pro of All-Star Movies Resort is its theming. Like the other All-Star resorts, it's definitely one of the best value resorts in terms of cost. As well as this, its food court really stands out, due to it being themed around an old movie lobby with 5 different eateries to choose from. Finally, its pool area has a classic Fantasia theme that sees guests splashed with water by the iconic Sorcerer Mickey. If that's not a proper piece of Disney magic, then we don't know what is. Where the All-Star Movie Resort falls down is that, similar to the All-Star Music Resort, the Movies Resort shares shuttle bus transportation to the parks with the other All-Star resorts. However, movies is the last stop, meaning that more often than not, buses can be full before they even get to the resort. This can lead to guests having to wait longer to get to the parks, which in our opinion is a big con. The fact that its theming is so good means it's not bottom of our list, but if it wasn't for the transportation issue, it would definitely be ranking higher. Number 3. All-Star Sports Resort. Top of the All-Star resorts to stay at, in our opinion, is the All-Star Sports Resort. Off the bat, no pun intended, we want to point out that, similar to the music theme, the sports theme is a little off to what you would normally expect from a Disney hotel. However, in our opinion, the resort does an okay job of blending its competitive sports theme with classic Disney characters. Without repeating ourselves too many times, the resort scores high in a number of areas, including price. Aside from this, the resort has some great amenities, especially for kids. These include an arcade, playground, pool, and similar to the other resorts, it also has a nice food court themed around a sports end zone. In our opinion, the biggest pro of staying at the All-Star Sports Resort is transport to the parks. Unlike the other All-Star resorts, sports is the first stop, meaning guests are nearly always guaranteed a seat on the bus, or at least a spot to stand. You can feel confident about getting to the parks quickly and on time staying at this resort. Where the resort falls down is probably with its unconventional theming compared to what guests might expect when staying on Disney property. Aside from this, One other thing that guests should take into account is that throughout the calendar year, there are a number of ESPN Wide World of Sports events held at Walt Disney World. These events can see large groups staying at the All-Star Sports Resort, and in our opinion, these large sports-focused groups can reduce the Disney vibe a little, so we'd recommend checking when these events are on before booking your accommodation. Number 2. Art of Animation Resort. At the time of this video, Art of Animation Resort is the newest value resort in Walt Disney World, opening in 2012. Unlike the other value resorts on this list, Art of Animation is actually considered Value Plus. Essentially, this means the resort is slightly higher in price, but is seen to have better amenities than the other value resorts. In terms of theming, the resort is broken into 4 sections, themed around Lion King, Finding Nemo, Cars, and The Little Mermaid. When it comes to the pros, in our opinion, the theming is great at Art of Animation, and similar to the All-Star Movies Resort, really gives off an authentic Disney feel to its guests. As mentioned already, this is a Value Plus resort, so its amenities are considered to be better than the standard value resort. Like the All-Star Music Resort, Art of Animation offers guests a choice of either standard rooms or family suites at a higher cost. Out of all the value resorts, it arguably has the nicest pool in terms of theming and layout. It's also considered to have the best food court in terms of variety. Finally, transportation to the parks is great compared to the All-Star resorts. Art of Animation has its own shuttle bus system, as well as being a stop on the relatively new Disney Skyliner. Where Art of Animation falls down, and probably one of the biggest cons to any value resort, is cost. Many people who stay at value resorts do so because they're visiting Walt Disney World on a budget. As Art of Animation is a Value Plus resort, it's therefore more expensive than the other value resorts on property. If not for this reason, we would probably have it at number 1 on our list, but consequently, we think that due to the cost factor, it falls slightly down. Overall though, if Art of Animation does fall within your budget, then we would definitely recommend looking into staying at this resort. Number 1. Pop Century Resort. Pop Century Resort is our top pick out of all the Walt Disney World value resorts. The resort is themed around different eras from the 20th century, including the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Guests staying at this resort can expect to see some iconic characters from classic movies such as Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, and much more. Overall, we feel that Pop Century was the top pick value resort due to a nice combination of theming, amenities, and cost. In terms of pros, as mentioned, the theming in Pop Century Resort is among the best in all the value resorts. Not only does it appeal to kids, but also adults who have grown up in the different eras showcased in its theming. Aside from this, and similar to Art of Animation, Pop Century has its own shuttle bus system to the parks and is a stop on the Disney Skyliner. This, along with a nice pool, food court with 7 different options, and cheaper cost than its nearest rival Art of Animation, makes it the best value resort on property. When looking at where this resort falls down, it's hard to find too many cons when looking at Pop Century Resort from a value perspective. However, some people have said that due to its layout, it can sometimes be a little louder than guests would want. The resort does also not offer any family suites, but if it did, these would probably come at a higher price anyway. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our top 5 ways to save time in Magic Kingdom video on screen now. Let us know in the comments which value resort you think is the best at Walt Disney World, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already.